Droidekas have finally been added to EA's Star Wars Battlefront 2, and I have some first impressions on them that I want to share with you guys today. Welcome back to the Star Bazaar, ladies and gentlemen, and to another Battlefront 2 discussion/gameplay video. The Where Are Those Droidekas update just dropped a couple of hours ago in Battlefront 2, and I've been getting some good playtime in with our newest reinforcement, the Droideka. So far, between my practice time in arcade and the few multiplayer matches that I've had about a collective hour total playtime with the Droideka, and all of my thoughts and feelings in this video will be based on that hour of playtime. These are just my first impressions. I'm sure they will change later on, but without further ado, let's just jump into it and talk about Battlefront 2's newest reinforcement. Of course, if you like today's video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and drop a comment below, as both really do help promote the video in YouTube. Also, if you're new, consider subscribing and getting notified. But with that, let's get into it. There are both some high points and some low points to touch on, but we'll start with the high points first. Battlefront 2 is known for bringing very authentic and photorealistic interpretations of the Star Wars universe and the characters within it, and the Droideka is really no exception here. They absolutely nailed everything about it in terms of the way it looks, its design, its aesthetic, even the sounds that the blasters make and the sound of it rolling on the ground. It's all authentic and straight out of the prequel movies. When you're in-game, even if you're not playing as a Droideka at the time, just watching them roll toward their objective is really cool to watch. It's just another element straight out of the Clone Wars that makes Battlefront 2 feel that much more authentic. In-game, the Droideka is part of the Enforcer class, one of several different reinforcements that you can spend battle points on to play as them. The Droideka is pretty special in this regard though, because it only costs 1,000 battle points to play as it, whereas other enforcers in the game cost 2,000. This is cool, and makes it so that the Droideka can be played more often. At least I was able to pick it several times and get some good practice time in with it. On that note, while I was playing as the Droideka, I did not notice any kind of bug or glitch or anything like that, which is really good. I was honestly a little bit concerned about this just based on the way General Grievous was released back in October. If you remember, he was a pretty buggy mess when he launched, and I was concerned that the Droideka would suffer the same fate. But so far, nothing like that, so that's great news. Also, I just have to touch on it, ball mode is my new favorite way to get around the map in Capital Supremacy. The distance between command posts means nothing to a Droideka. They move so fast in ball mode, and it's great. I love it. But with that, we're gonna move on to the low points, and there are several here. I'm not trying to be negative, just as objective and honest as possible, because there were some things about the Droideka that left me a little bit disappointed. On the bright side, it all has to do with gameplay mechanics, which is something that can be easily changed in a future patch or update, assuming DICE decides to do so. First off, the Droideka feels, to me, very weak in terms of damage output. These are droids that are known as destroyer droids, yet when I tried to use it in Capital Supremacy, I felt that it took a few too many shots to take out my targets, especially when compared to the other enforcer on the Separatist side, the B2 Super Battle Droid. I felt that if I was using the B2 instead, I would have dropped my target in an instant, whereas with the Droideka, I felt that the power just was not there. This was apparent at all ranges, but it becomes especially noticeable at long range, where you see the damage drop-off become insanely small, to the point where even if you're landing all your shots and you're getting hit markers, it will still look like your opponent is not taking damage. Quite simply, to fix this, I propose a damage buff. Just give the Droideka a little bit more power. Give it some more damage behind its primary blaster and even with overload, and I think it will see a lot more success. The next low point I want to bring up is the fact that the transformation time for the Droideka is very long. The animation for when it goes into the ball mode, or when it comes out of the ball mode into destroyer mode, it takes a very long time, and it leaves the Droideka exposed because you can't really move while it's transforming. You're kind of stuck in place until the animation is over. Meanwhile, if you have enemies around you, that's just an open invitation to get shot. It's not all bad though, because it does kind of train you to think about the best possible time to deploy into destroyer mode. I found when playing as the Droideka that staying in ball mode for the majority of the time is the best course of action, and you should only deploy into destroyer mode when you have a clear line of sight on your target, and you know you can take them out. Otherwise, it's safer just to stay in ball mode so that you can get to safety quickly, or to double around and find the best possible opening to attack from. Since the animation time to get from ball mode to destroyer mode, or vice versa, takes so long, I propose a simple fix of giving the Droideka 25% damage reduction during that transformation animation. That would give it just a little bit more survivability during that brief period where you quite literally can't do anything. Or, if it would work better for the developers, simply make the animation shorter. That would be just as fine too. So, the low damage output and the long transformation time are my two biggest gripes, but I have one more that I kind of softened my position on as I was recording this video. At first, I thought the shield for the Droideka was pretty weak. It seemed to go down very fast and left the Droideka exposed and easy to kill. While that may actually objectively be true, it could in fact be a weak shield, I think the bigger problem is the Droideka's lack of power. If the Droideka had more damage output behind it, I think the lack of a shield wouldn't matter all that much because encounters would be a lot shorter. You'd be able to take out your targets a lot faster, and they wouldn't be able to damage you all that much as a result. So I could see this go one of two ways. Either keep the damage output the same and give the shield a good buff, or keep the shield the same and give the buff to the damage output. That way they would balance each other out and make the Droideka much more viable. And those are my first impressions on the Droideka in Battlefront 2. I'll now pass it off to you guys. What do you think about the newest reinforcement in the game? Do you like it? Do you dislike it? If you could make changes to it yourself, what would those changes be? Let me know down in a comment below. I'm just gonna let the rest of this gameplay play out, but I do appreciate all of you guys stopping by the Star Bazaar. Be sure to thumbs up the video, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. And that's going to do it from me. I'll see you all out on the battlefront. Peace.
Hostiles have started to capture a command post. Win or be deactivated. We've lost control of a command post. Clones are boarding the transport. Target destroyed. Stop the Republic.
Please remember, this was your own fault. I find your ineptitude less amusing as time goes by.